What's going on, everybody? I hope you have had a fantastic Thursday afternoon/evening so far. This is NYG Jeffy T 85 here, and I'm bringing you the Black and Blue Injury Report for the New York Giants Thursday, December 8th, as the New York Giants get ready to host the NFC and NFL leading Philadelphia Eagles in an NFC East classic rivalry this Sunday. The Giants injury report today is not as bad as it was the previous day. Let's just say a lot more guys were more involved in practice today compared to where they were yesterday. So that's the positive side right now. But before I go over the injury news so far, a little bit of an update from head coach Brian Daboll on safety Xavier McKinney, who we all know McKinney got injured during the bye week when he had that unfortunate ATV accident, and he had to have pins inserted into his hand after he fractured his hand all the way back after the Jacksonville Jaguar game. The update on Xavier McKinney is positive and negative at the same time. The positive news about Xavier McKinney is that he did have the pins in his hand removed. So at least he got the pins removed from his hand, so that's somewhat good progress. The negative is that Brian Daboll pretty much said that he still has hurdles to go, and he still has to go through some rigorous activities before he can get cleared, and he's still unsure if Xavier McKinney will in fact be back by the end of this season. And he wonders if Xavier McKinney will play for the rest of the season. Now, that could just obviously be a red herring to make teams believe that Xavier McKinney will not be back this season, or it could be legit. Because obviously that hand is still in really bad shape, even with the pins being removed. But he's got about 5 weeks to go if the New York Giants don't make the playoffs. There's at least 5 weeks to go in the season. So you're assuming if you give him at least another month or so, Xavier McKinney might be ready to go by the end of that season, and potentially by that game against the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 18. But either way, it's encouraging that he got the pins removed from his hand, but it's not as encouraging because of the fact that Xavier McKinney is still weeks away, it seems like, from returning to the football field, even after some Giants fans and even some media reporters thought that Xavier McKinney could even come back this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. So the positive is at least Xavier McKinney got the pins removed from his surgically repaired hand and thumb. But the negatives is that head coach Brian Daboll says he's still got some hurdles to clear. He's still got some rigorous activity to go through before he could potentially be cleared to come back. So that's not a positive sign completely about Xavier McKinney's potential return this season. But in terms of the injury report for the New York Giants today, same participants as usual did not practice, but the only player that was not on the present field in terms of practicing today was only Joshua Ezeudu, who was not present at practice today. He obviously dealing with the neck injury. He's not going to play this week. At least Shane Lemieux was back out there on the side with the trainers, so at least that's a positive sign. Shane Lemieux was back outside with the trainers, so maybe he's potentially on the road to coming back. I'm not guaranteeing anything because he's been dealing with that toe injury pretty much all season, but at least it's a somewhat positive sign that Shane Lemieux could be back. But he obviously has that toe injury. He did not practice today. And Adoree Jackson and Leonard Williams were in fact in uniform today at practice, but they both did not practice today. Adoree Jackson with the sprained MCL, Leonard Williams with the neck. Adoree Jackson is not going to play this week, and just the way by it's trending so far, unless he can find a way to recover in the next day or so, it doesn't look like Leonard Williams is going to be able to play this game either. So the Giants might be without a couple of key players on the defensive side going against the Philadelphia Eagles at home in a game the Giants could definitely try to get a win on this one. Now, in terms of the limited guys, and there's a new entry on this list, and this seems to be the new injury for the New York Giants. It was sprained MCLs at first, and now it seems to be the neck injuries. As Saquon Barkley is now part of the injury report, he's limited with a neck injury. That's not a good sign for a running back, especially with the pounding he takes, after every single time he has to run the football up the middle or around the side, and especially if he's catching the football over the middle. He's got a neck injury right now. He was limited today. So he actually got downgraded from yesterday. I think Saquon's going to be okay to play in this game, but either way, it's not the best sign that Saquon Barkley now has a neck injury to go with that shoulder injury he's been battling all the way since the Green Bay Packers game, all the way back in Week 5. So that's multiple injuries now Barkley's dealing with. But I think he'll be able to play this Sunday. I think they're just managing his practice reps. Darnay Holmes, Richie James, Nick McCloud, Henry Mondeaux are the other 4 players that were limited today at practice. Holmes with the shoulder injury. He obviously did not play this past week against the Washington Commanders. He got 2 limited sessions in a row. We'll have to wait and see how his diagnosis is at the end of this week. I think he's going to be questionable at best, but I think he'll be able to give it a go and at least be able to give some depth at that cornerback position. Richie James has been battling a knee injury for the past couple of weeks, but he's still been out there playing. So I'm not worried about Richie James missing this game. I think he'll ultimately suit up. He's just going to manage that knee injury he's been battling the past few weeks. Nick McCloud has been dealing with a hamstring injury, but it doesn't seem severe enough with the fact that he's gotten 2 straight limited practices. So I think he'll be out there this Sunday against the Eagles. And Henry Mondeaux, he's got that knee injury he's been battling since the game against the Washington Commanders on Sunday. I think he'll be good to go for this game on Sunday as well. So the injury report is not as bad. Obviously, the most concerning news is around Xavier McKinney's potential return to the lineup, in that head coach Brian Daboll at least gave some positive news, but he also gave some vague news around Xavier McKinney, with the fact that he did get the pins removed from his surgically repaired hand, but at the same time, it still paints a very interesting picture that Xavier McKinney could still miss the rest of the season with that hand injury. But we'll have to wait and see. I think he'll be able to come back by the end of the season, but we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with him. And in terms of the injury report, Ezeudu, Jackson, Lemieux, Williams all missed practice today. Ezeudu wasn't even present outside of practice. He's definitely not playing. I don't expect Adoree Jackson to play either, even though he was outside in uniform with a sprained MCL. He's just not ready. Shane Lemieux was at least outside of practice with that toe injury, but he was heavily watched by trainers. He wasn't even in uniform. He's not playing this week. And Leonard Williams with the neck injury might be the closest of those 4 that has a chance to play, but at the same time, don't take a chance with a neck injury, especially with a defensive lineman. Maybe it's best to hold him out, even though this game against Philadelphia is a big one. It might be best to hold out Leonard Williams for the game next week on Sunday Night Football against the Washington Commanders. And in terms of the limited guys, Saquon Barkley, who's been battling a shoulder injury pretty much the entire season. He's got a neck injury to compound with the shoulder injury. He got a limited session today. Darnay Holmes, who's been battling a shoulder injury the past couple of weeks, missed last week because of that within the Commanders game. Think he's going to be able to play 2 straight limited practices. Richie James with a knee injury. He's been battling through that the past few weeks. I think he's going to be good to go. Nick McCloud with the hamstring injury. He was limited today. I think he's going to be good to go. Might have to manage his snaps. And Henry Mondeaux with a knee injury. He injured it this past Sunday against the Washington Commanders. But I think he'll be ultimately good to go for this Sunday as well. So that is your Black and Blue injury report for the New York Giants. Thursday, December 8th, 2022. Giants continue to get prepared for their crucial game on Sunday at MetLifeStadium against their division rival, Philadelphia Eagles. So if you guys like this video, hit the like button below. Sub up if you haven't already to NYGJeffyT85 for more breaking news, updates, and chatter and injury reports surrounding the New York Giants. Turn on the bell for notifications of the next video or short that's going to be dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Giants. And you guys let me know in the comments section what you think about the latest injury report that dropped today compared to what's dropped yesterday. And if you're concerned with any of the players that have just been added to the list, who have been downgraded, upgraded, etc., heading into this game on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles at MetLifeStadium. So I thank you very much, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your Thursday evening. Take it easy, and as always, let's go New York Football Giants. Together Blue, everyone.